A lot of times we want to jump into
I actually think he's good.
You know what I'm saying? We want to start talking about who the real Jews are, and the map is turned upside down, and all that. Hey, guys, I get that. But if we could focus on our most recent affliction, we are living in the effects of the crack era. That is the most recent affliction. That's what's got us in our present condition. That we got to be real about that. We talk about this often, and we're going to keep talking about it until niggas get it. The crack era has shaped the behaviors, the dynamics, and the mentality of every black person that's in the black community, that's from the black community. We know somebody, we have been, or close to, in love with, related to somebody who either played a part in the poisoning or got poisoned. We know we got an uncle, a cousin, a brother, a father that went to prison or got killed behind this shit. We got a mother that was strung out or left out here to fend for herself when her husband got sent away or got murdered, or her son, and she got to go to work with that grief every day. This is why we see black women integrating into corporate America, because they watch their mama struggle, and they watch their mama coddle their son out of fear that he would end up like his father or his uncle. So now he's not productive, and he end up in the street in the same cycle because he doesn't have any alternatives or ambition, and his mama fear for his life every time he leave outside the goddamn door. Not to mention the police brutality and the police presence. So we got a lot of young black women that said, fuck that. I ain't finna go to work and work 2 jobs and stress out. I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna focus on my grades. I'm gonna lock in. I'm gonna get into that corporate world. And that's what we see as an effect of that. Now that's a positive effect from a negative circumstance. But we have to be able to acknowledge these things. A lot of black people live in the suburbs and middle class. A lot of black people move to Georgia. Why? Because the conditions in the hood were the remnants of the crack era. These were the effects. They was living in the effects. And when the money goes, the only thing left is violence. So if we can get on the same page, and, like, niggas trying to skip steps ahead. Let's go back to our most recent affliction. Let's focus on the 80s to the present. Understand what happened. Understand why there's been no strong political movements in the black community. No strong. We've tried black power movements and we've revamped these things online, and we will. And those things will always cycle back. But that starts needs to be the baseline. It doesn't need to be a natural hair movement. That just needs to be a baseline. Doesn't need to be a black love movement. That just needs to be the baseline. Like being Pan-African shouldn't be something we have to push. We just have to understand that we have brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora that if you go look at their conditions and you go look at the playbook that was put down on them, it's similar to the ones that was put down on us. Crack is just specific to black America.
Yeah, I don't agree with him at all.
Oh. He just said the same shit you were saying.
No, he did, but he's not in the same structure. The only reason why the crack era was able to happen was because we didn't know our value. We didn't know our heritage. So because we don't know that is not our root, right? Even if we go back to the crack era, right?
What years do you define the crack era as being?
Well, I'm saying he said the 80s. Right? So if we say the 70s, the 80s, that's where he's saying, specifically said, let's go back and start there and work from there. So let's just say 40, 45 years, right? My thing is, the only reason why that was able to happen was because we didn't know. I would even argue in 1980, they probably didn't know about what was really going on during the Great Depression, right? So again, it's just going to be another cycle, because what skipping steps is leaving out the root. And that weed is going to grow right back. So we need to really, really dig deep and find out the truths about what happened post that.
Wait, post
what?
The crack era.
That's now.
Yeah, that's now. Are you saying
No, he's saying forget about everything that happened before then and start there.
No, what he's saying is look, especially it's what Aaron was saying. In the age of information, there is so much information going on. Rather than focus on people will be like he said, the map is turned around. Blacks were the original Jews. Going into kind of all these metaphysical conversations and philosophies. He's like, that's great. Certain things should just be a baseline, but let's just go back to the most recent issue and let's deal with that.
My problem is the recent issue is still not a solution.
Yeah. No. He's saying look back at the most recent affliction so that you can process what has happened and understand how we got here. So we got here from there. So right now we're living in the consequence.
I've been on podcasts since 2018, and I'm gonna tell you, we've been saying this shit specifically to what he's talking to.
But we're still in the same era. Just because
No. What I'm saying is we are acknowledging, have acknowledged that already. That's
I don't
done.
think we have.
It's done. It's been there. It's done. We have acknowledged it. And now we're finally at the point where we're like, okay, how is this able to happen? Who are we as people? What actually did happen? Now we have Aaron coming out and saying, well, guess what? During the Great Depression, our community wasn't really affected. You know why? Because our money wasn't in the banks. Aaron's also saying, hey, you know what? Back then, everything was more insulated, so we didn't have to depend on the white people to fund us or give us jobs. This is all before then, this crack era. So we've already digested that. He needs to catch the fuck up. There's a big difference between the crack era being the emulation of these new rappers versus just the slave-minded idiots getting money for the first fucking time. It did. You got to remember, at one point in time, I can't say this as 100% fact, but at one point in time, the level of ignorance in a sophisticated community was very low. So ignorance is not the product of the crack era. Ignorance was the product of the destruction of our sophisticated era. So these people who are, and even if you're talking about these people who are having cash in their mattresses, they didn't put the money in the bank, right? So where did they learn that from?
Where they learn what?
Keeping the money in the mattress.
From the era from before.
Because they've been doing it.
Thank you, my point. Wait. Thank
Right?
you. Yes, they've been doing it before the crack era.
But I don't think he was saying money was in the mattress in the crack era.
No, he was saying like having money and just stashing it in the box and
So like, you have to think about it. Someone like Baron Davis, who does do that, Baron would probably have to have some sort of like information pipeline with like, hey, and not to say he doesn't, because I really don't know. Hey, like I want to reach out to y'all so that y'all can be involved in like, one, setting yourself up for later, but two, also like being impactful to the communities from which you come. And but then on top of that, there are people who are doing that. I saw an interview of what's his name? Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn, he said he would bring his jeweler in, right? And the young guys will come through, and he'll also have his money man there, like his financial advisor or whatever, or someone who ran investments. And he said you couldn't come and see his jeweler and spend money on jewelry without also spending, I think, like an equal amount or something or other on investing in your future. You know, so I really don't think that those are anomalies. I'm gonna be honest. Because I've heard it before.
So this guy that lives in my building, he's a retired NBA player, right? So he introduced me to one of his friends, Jack McClinton, right? And so I was watching his interviews on his Instagram. And you know what he did when he was in the NBA, when he had just got drafted? He said after the games, he said, I made a business card, and I would just give my business card to everybody that was sitting courtside.
The NBA player?
Yeah. And he was saying, this is my business card so I can learn from you. Because after this, I need to still work, right? Now, you know, he's living a great life. But I think that what I really liked about that is the fact that there's a difference between somebody who's eager to grow and a rich idiot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much access I give you. You can have all of the, you know, the most influential. Yeah, you gotta want to. You have to have that capacity.
You have to be a learner. You have to have that curiosity.
You really, you probably have to be kind of smart outside.
Yeah.
You have to be smart. That's what.
Right.
There's no like. That's the
least
thing.
curious.
You just have to be smart.
Yeah, at least curious. Yeah.
Like, you might not like have all the information, but there has to be a desire to want.
How do I
more.
flip this?
Yeah.
But curiosity is in a way
It's a part.
intelligence, right? Yeah,
part.
it's
Yeah,
a base level.
Yeah.
It's a baseline, right? So, but again, we're talking about rich idiots before.
I don't. These are.
There's just nothing I can do. And I say this, and it might shock the internet, but when I look at Africa as being, and from what they say is one of the most resourceful things, resourceful regions with the most valuable materials, and look at how it just now started to really get, not control, levels to its potential.
Well, it was colonized.
Well, yeah.
Well,
and they just
But no, even though it was colonized, nobody in the last 30, 40 years, nobody's going in there and just taking what the fuck.
What? To this day. To this day. To this day.
And I know, listen, I speak to a woman who owns gold mines in Africa since 1991. Listen, there's been an influx of valuable materials there. You saw what happened with Uganda a few years ago, right? Where Uganda found, I think it was equal to $2 trillion. It was like 220,000 pounds of gold that they found somewhere in Uganda. And you're like, okay, you start to think about it. It's like, okay, now technically by the gold alone, it is the most richest country in the world.
Right.
But is it?
Don't you think they were hiding that information from the important people? That
No,
needed
it's
to have
out.
it?
It's out.
No, but I'm saying when
At the
these
time.
things happen at the time, I think the way from what I'm hearing, you're saying like, shouldn't Africa be more built up in a sense?
Yeah.
So don't you think that information was suppressed for a reason from certain people
Nope.
to not build it up in our hands?
I don't
Nope.
think it's just that. I think it's a matter of international politics
Yeah.
that plays such a pivotal role into that.
Very
It's
much.
not as simple. It's not even a matter of just the United States. We're talking about like
The world.
the world.
But they
right?
made deals though.
They made deals, but there was so much corruption.
The corruption is still the same amount.